Yep, morning.
All right, Coach. We'll open up with questions. We have Mike Reese followed by Chris Ryan.
All right. Morning, Bill. I just want to ask you about the SoFi Stadium, and just from having been there last year, what, if anything, was distinguishable to you about the new venue there, as it related to, I guess, differences from other places that affect maybe the way you play the game or what to look for?
Yeah, I think the stadium was empty, so it'll be interesting to see it, in its full version this weekend. So it's really the stadiums that are empty like that. It's hard to feel the vibe and the personality of the stadium.
And football-wise, we've talked in the past about how sometimes replacing a core special teamer can be in a lot of ways as challenging, if not more, than like a guy who plays like one role. With Harvey in mind and Calvin coming in, is Calvin a possible 1-for-4 like guy to replace Harvey in all those roles he plays on the special teams?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe eventually. We'll have to see how it goes here early, but yeah, I think it's a possibility.
And just in general with Calvin, what you obviously had the background with him, but what made you want to bring him back and work with him? What does he have going for him, to be part of this?
All right, well, we wanted to work with him before, and he had an opportunity to be on a roster and get games that would give him a year of vesting and so forth. So I understand that. We've dealt with that before, but yeah, we wanted to work with him before, and it's a situation kind of in reverse where he's on a roster and he wasn't on a roster, and from a career standpoint, there's some advantages to that.
The next question, Chris Ryan followed by Yofi Chan.
Morning, Bill. How are you?
Good, Chris. How's it going?
Good, thanks. I want to ask you about Joey Bosa and his impact on the Chargers defense, and how much does a player like him wreak havoc on preparations, and is his impact even before stepping on the field significant?
Yeah, definitely. You have to know where he is on every play. I think if you go back to the Buffalo game last year, he almost single-handedly. Well, he did single-handedly change the game. He almost changed the outcome of the game, almost by himself. So, yeah, he's an impact player. It's not just the negative plays, but the turnovers, the strip sacks, the batted balls, the plays like that he makes, the tackles from behind where he strips the ball out and things like that. So, and then you commit attention to him, and that creates other problems in other spots. So he's a tough matchup, and Coach Staley does a good job with him. They move around a little bit, and they they bring 5 a lot, so it's hard to double them when you have 5 blocking 4. You might have a chance to get some help to them, but when it's 5 blocking 5, then that really makes it difficult. So. There are definitely some challenges that he presents, and then within the scheme that compounds it. So, yeah, but he's a major problem.
And off of that, how do you make the decision of not letting him, but going one-on-one with him, perhaps having someone else available to pick him up along the way versus double teaming him? And you think about LT as well in that realm. How many guys are able to impact the game the way that Bosa is able to impact a game?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Again, some of that's, I think some of that's based on the matchup. So that's that's another consideration too. But regardless, whoever Bosa plays against is going to be challenging for that individual. And again, it's not always the same guy, and he's not always in the same spot. So you have to work through some things there. But he's mainly on the right, and he's mainly going to be against the right tackle, and he honestly has enough in his repertoire to give anybody problems with speed to power, inside move, and just general aggressive pass rush techniques. That he has a good arsenal and knows how to use them.
Thanks.
All right, next question, Yofi Chen, followed by George Blanch.
Morning, Bill. The other day you mentioned QB's ability of extending a play a couple of times. So I wanted to ask you, excuse me, I want to ask you from your standpoint, is this one a skill that a player could acquire through training or gaining more experience over time? And also, how would you coach your players up to manage, the risk and the rewards in those type of plays?
Well, I think any skill can be improved. I don't think you can go from slow to fast, but I think you can improve no matter how fast or slow you are. You can improve. I think you can improve as a scrambler, whether you're a good scrambler or a bad scrambler, to start with. And the scramble plays usually come from two things. One, being forced to scramble because there's quick pressure early, or two, the play extends because either the pass rush leverage has broken down or the receivers are covered and the quarterback has time to stay behind the line and extend the play to either run or pass. So, experienced quarterbacks and quarterbacks with a good feeling, good sense on that, and kind of, know when, when's a good time to extend it and when's a good time to not extend it. But the whole idea of extending the play is to find somebody open to throw, or if there's space to run and gain positive yards, and then, for the quarterback to protect himself. So again, can any of those things be improved? Definitely. Are you going to take a quarterback who's not a good scrambler and make him into Roger Staubach? I mean, no, I don't think that's realistic. But you can improve everybody. Everybody can improve, and even quarterbacks that really don't want to scramble, if it's the right situation, they can hurt you. So.
Next question, George Blanch, followed by Phil Perry.
And Bill, not just Justin Herbert's scrambling abilities alone, but also the offensive line is one of the best pass blocking lines in the NFL. What challenges does that present, and how do you combat and attack that, and I guess in a way try to make them have an uncharacteristic day?
Yeah, well, pass rush and pass coverage are very closely related. So without one, you don't have the other won't be effective if you don't have both of them. So that's our goal defensively, is, as it always is to make the quarterback get the ball out on time, or have the coverage to make him hold it for a split second longer than he wants to, whether that's based on disguise or tight coverage or whatever it is. And then that gives the pass rush that extra, split second to get there. And if the pass rush is good, then it allows the coverage to move a little quicker to get on the matches that they have, whether they be man or zone. So, a good pass rush with open receivers isn't really very good, and covering a receiver, you can't cover these receivers in this league all day. So even if you have them covered for a little while, if the quarterback extends the play and you don't have any pass rush, they're eventually going to get open. So you need to play both. You need to do both and have good team defense.
And quick, you always hear about teams going from the East Coast to the West Coast, the team that's traveling being the ones that are kind of the dogs in this. Do you think that actually has any impact on the game, going from New England all the way to LA to play at 4:30 local time for us?
There's probably some effect. I don't know, but I'd put it in a very low percentage basis. There's certainly a lot of examples of, teams going on the road and doing well. So I think it really is more about how you're performing than where the game's located. But I'm not going to sit here and say that travel has no effect on the game, but I think there's a lot of other things that affect it more.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question, Phil Perry, followed by Mike Reese.
Hey, Bill, can you hear me okay? My connection's a little spotty this morning, I think.
Loud and clear, Phil.
There we go. Like to hear it. I have a little bit of an off the beaten path one for you here. Nick Saban actually said something about a year ago now that I've thought would be interesting to ask you about, and the opportunity hasn't really presented itself, but he's got a big birthday coming up this weekend, so we'll take that opportunity and I guess try to make this as good a time as any for this. But I'll just give you his quote, and I just kind of wanted to get your reaction to that, understanding that there are some obvious differences between the league you're coaching in and him coaching in college football. But he said, again, this was about a year ago, he said it used to be that good defense beats good offense. Good defense doesn't beat good offense anymore. And he went on to say it used to be that if you had a good defense, other people weren't going to score. You were always going to be in the game. I'm telling you, it ain't that way anymore. And he went on to say he didn't like that, which, makes sense given his background. But I just wanted to kind of get your reaction to that, and if it feels like the NFL game is going that way at all.
Yeah, I mean, again, each game's its own game, so it's hard to generalize. But I don't think having a good defense is a bad thing. It's hard to score 50 points every game, so it's nice when you don't have to score a lot of points. Won a Super Bowl scoring 13 points. That's not a bad thing. Even last year, it's a pretty good defensive game, and scored enough on offense. So again, football's a team game, and there's three facets to it, and if you're not good in an area, it's probably going to catch up with you sooner or later against another team that is a better balanced team. But no, I understand what Nick's saying. We've talked about that, and there's definitely some, more challenges defensively than maybe what there used to be, between the rules and some of the, say, the way the game's being played. A lot of good offensive coaches, so.
We'll take two final questions, to Matthew Fairburn and Zach Conn.
Morning, Bill. Kind of going off what you were talking about with, any skill can be improved. When you think about potential upside, growth potential, whatever you want to call it, how much of that with a player is physical, and how much, when you're thinking about upside, is it capacity to learn and what a player has mentally?
Yeah, both are important. Yeah, both are really important. Certainly the mental side of it is, comes from, I would say, understanding what the coaching points are, understanding how something needs to be done so it can be executed better, and then putting in the work to actually change the execution of that fundamental or that part of the play, whatever it is. But physically, there are a lot of skills in the National Football League that I would say almost all rookies, at least the ones I've coached, are somewhat deficient at. Even the great players, Taylor or Brady, or pick out whoever you want. What they were as rookies and what they became later on in their careers was quite different. So, I do think there's certainly a developmental aspect even to the great players, and the coaches for that matter. I mean, all of us started at a point where we didn't know anything, and There's a lot of people that still think that, but you know, you do learn from day to day and year to year, and experience can be helpful. You know, still doesn't take anybody off the hook from actually performing their job on that particular day or for that particular week, but there is, you know, some benefit to experience. So yeah, but both are important. Physical part of it's important, the mental part is important. If you have both, then you'll improve more and you'll see more growth. One without the other is gonna put a limitation on how far that individual can go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And last question, Zach Carter.
Morning, Bill.
Hey, Zach.
Just curious now, about 3-4 weeks in, have you seen Jamie reacclimate into this team from an on-field perspective and a behind-the-scenes perspective? We've heard a lot of positive things about him from some of the other guys in that linebacker room.
Yeah, I think Jamie's transitioned very smoothly. Most of us know him, but you know, there are new relationships to be made, and that's, you know, that's part of joining any new organization or team. But Jamie's transitioned well. There's some changes in the defense from when he was here in 19, but he's acclimated to those, and so I think it's going well. He works hard. He knows what to do. He's great to be around. He's helped us defensively on all downs, and he's helped us in the kicking game. So he's really done everything we've asked him to do, and he's, you know, doing it well. So glad we have him, and you know, I think he'll continue to probably build those roles a little bit here going forward. And you know, I'm sure he'll try to make the most of all the opportunities that he gets.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, one last question, Mike, please.
Thought we'd end you on a light note, Bill. Are you still a big Halloween guy?
Yeah, not this year. Be tough. I'll save it for next year.
Yeah. What's at the top of the list? Is there Snickers?
Yeah, pretty much anything that's in the bag. I won't turn down much.
A lot of, you know, there's a lot of Bill Belichick's out there. Have you ever opened your door for, you know, if you had like a night off, obviously not this week, and seen like yourself?
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, with the headset and all that, I did see that. That was a few years ago. Yep.
Good stuff. All right. Safe
All right.
travels. We'll see you
Thanks.
out
Okay, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
there. Bye.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.